Why did that person show up in my life in the first place? Once you start asking it that way, the way you see every relationship in your life will never be the same again. A friend you trusted completely, and then one day they walked away without a single word of explanation. A relationship you genuinely invested in, your time, your emotions, sometimes the best years of your life, and it ended in a way you never saw coming. Some people arrive softly, they stay for a while, then quietly disappear, and you never quite understand why. Others arrive with more weight. They collide with your life, throw everything off balance, and leave you disoriented for longer than you'd like to admit. And the hardest part isn't their leaving. The hardest part is what happens inside you afterward. Your inner world pulled in every direction, are unsure of what's real, unsure of what's right. Like a small leaf caught in a strong current, with no say in where it's going. You feel good when you meet someone who fits. You feel worn down when you meet someone who doesn't. And somewhere in between, life becomes this constant back and forth, entirely dependent on how the people around you happen to be treating you that day. I lived that way for a long time, and I know it's an exhausting way to live. Then one day, I started looking back, not to judge anyone, but simply to observe the person who hurt me the most. What did they unintentionally point out in me that I hadn't been willing to look at? The ending I thought I'd never get through. What version of myself did it push me toward? And the friend who drifted away? What did their absence teach me that their presence had been covering up? And I realized something. Not a grand philosophy, but a very practical observation. Every person who enters your life reflects something back at you, something you're ready to grow into, or something you're ready to let go of. The easy relationships show you that you're capable of connection. The difficult ones show you where you're reacting and why. Meeting people, facing circumstances, going through hard seasons. It's all, in a way, meeting yourself at different points along the road. This isn't just a comforting thought. It's a shift in perspective that moves you from feeling like a victim of what happens to you to becoming someone who learns from it. So what's the real lesson here? It's not endure everything because it all happens for a reason. And it's definitely not stay with someone who is hurting you. Sometimes walking away is the lesson of respecting yourself enough to know when something isn't right for you. What I'm pointing to is something different and more subtle than that. Some people come into your life to teach you how to open up when you've been closed off for too long because of old wounds. Some come to teach you how to let go when you've been holding on to something that no longer belongs to you. Some come to teach you how to set boundaries when you've been letting others go further into your space than they should. None of them are the wrong person. They're simply playing the role that moment in your life needed, even if neither of you knew it at the time. And here's the most important part. If you haven't learned what that experience was trying to show you, life will keep sending similar situations with different people until you finally see what you need to see, not as punishment, but because that's how real growth actually works. It gets lighter when you pay attention early, and it gets heavier when you keep looking away. Imagine standing at the top of a mountain pass, looking down into a valley below. From inside the valley, you can only see one bend in the road at a time. You don't know where it leads. You only see what's right in front of you. But from up high, you can see the entire journey, including the turns that seem pointless, that actually led you exactly where you needed to go. When you start seeing your life from that kind of vantage point, something quietly shifts. You carry less regret, not because the pain disappears, but because you begin to understand that the pain was part of what brought you to where you're standing today. You judge others less, because you know each person is walking their own path, and sometimes two paths cross not to merge, but so both people can learn something and keep moving forward. You start to appreciate even the imperfect things, the goodbyes that came too soon, the connections that didn't last, the people you couldn't hold on to. All of it has shaped who you are right now. What comes into your life, you welcome it. What leaves, you release it with a kind of quiet steadiness. Not because you don't care, but because you understand. Holding on too tightly doesn't keep anything. And knowing when to let go, that's the truest form of appreciation. I want to close with something simple. Not advice, not a conclusion, just a question. One to take with you and sit with quietly. Who is the person that left the deepest mark on your journey? And if you look back honestly, how did that meeting change you? No need to answer right now. No need for a perfect answer. Sometimes, just being willing to look back, that alone is already a step forward. We tend to measure our lives by what we've achieved. But looking back, I think our lives are really shaped by the people we've met. And more importantly, by how we chose to respond to each of those encounters. No meeting is wasted. No chapter in your story is meaningless, including the ones you wish you could tear out. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If something in this video stayed with you, even just one line, share it with someone you think needs to hear it. See you in the next one.